What's up, guys? I can't sleep, so I figured I'd do a little video and started straightening up the comic book room. And I'm just really not there to, dive into the comic shit and stuff. But so I figured I would do a little video showing you guys the full collection of the Batman the Animated Series from the 90s. Okay. I have the full set and stuff. And I'm shooting from the hip here, so if there's a little fact here that's wrong, stick it in the comments. Don't kill me. Or if you have anything to share, go ahead. And remember, thumbs up the video and subscribe and stuff, because actually this is kind of fun. Now, thanks to I was always into cartoons growing up and stuff, and one of the things that it's amazing that I was able to stay into the cartoons is because of I grew up watching Wizards and heavy metal, Ralph Bakski's Lord of the Rings, and Heavy Traffic and American Pop. Um, the two bigger shows of Saturday mornings in the late 70s for me came on like I can't remember if it was 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning. I think it was 7 in the morning, and it was Battle of the Planets, which is known as Gatchaman, that came over from Japan in the 70s, and Johnny Quest. Now, the reason I'm bringing all these up is because they had violence in them. They had people getting shot. They had a lot of things that cartoons, while I was growing up in the 80s, weren't allowed to have. I watched my Transformers here and there. I watched my G.I. Joe. It was very rare that I actually watched an episode all the way through because there was always this big scene and fight in both cartoons where people would be the screen would be filled with just all kinds of Cobra's minions and Yo Joe flying around, and they would have not bullets but lasers, and the lasers would be like shooting all over the place, like a blizzard, of snow, and people would be running through there, and nobody ever got shot, and nobody ever threw a punch on Super Friends that I watched and stuff like that. So I just reached a point even at that young age where I just kind of rolled my eyes like, oh my God, no way, no way, and it would break my suspension of disbelief. And then in the early '90s, um, 89 and in 1989 and a few years later, Tim Burton came out with the Batman. It was film noir. It was dark. It was gritty. It sort of everything was sort of the same, but it was Batman. Danny Elfman's great score, and it was a hit. A lot of people can back up now and put the movies down and stuff like that, but it was Batman mania in 1989, and everybody was all excited about the second Batman. So that's when Bruce Timm and a few of his friends, they'd been working in cartoons for a while. The biggest influence, the biggest place that I remember hearing Bruce Timm's name mentioned was like in some comic scene or some magazines from the 80s that covered comic books and cartoons, anything that was, movies a little bit and stuff. And during the New Adventures of Ralph Bakski's Mighty Mouse, Bruce Timm's name got put out there, and he came up with he had some other people, but it was always I always kind of got the feeling he Bruce Timm is the name most associated with these cartoons and stuff, and he came up with this drawing of Batman. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, the first time I saw it, I rolled my eyes. This big chin, these short ears, and I saw a little picture of what was coming in like one of those magazines, Comic Scene, Comic Spectacular, or something like that. So I really wasn't interested, and I was so wrong. So not only is this Batman the animated animated series, influenced heavily by the Tim Burton movies, it's also influenced heavily by the Fleischer cartoons of Superman from the early '40s. And the Fleischer, and it's so amazing because the Fleischers did not want to do this cartoon. So when they told the studio how much money each cartoon would make, they came up with like this extravagant number, like I don't know, 250,000 an episode or something like that. That's probably wrong, but the studio said yeah. So we kind of get that timeless '40s feel, film noir feel a little bit from these great Fleischer cartoons from the '40s, which are just amazing on their own. And Tim Burton, Fleischer, and it was also Jack Kirby. And one of the specials, featurettes on these DVDs, Bruce Timm was talking about when these guys were coming in to work on the cartoon, as they started hiring people when the cartoon got picked up, that he wanted them. He kept referencing Kirby's work, Jack Kirby, and they didn't. These young guys didn't know who Jack Kirby was. And he was devastated, so he had to give them assignments to read Jack Kirby, and of course, every one of them came Jack Kirby nuts. Now, so we get these Batman movies, and Bruce Timm's got this going. He's Adria Romano is I think that's her name, is cat voice casting the voices. And as one of the first things they did to try to shoot the pilot episodes, that these actors came in, and all the actors were in the same room doing the voices first. In animation, you always do the dialogue and such first, so the animators can animate to it. And they had everybody in the same room. That's just not the way cartoons have been done. The scripts that they were reading, even the actors could kind of tell that they were doing something different. And then during that casting, they were really getting nervous about who we want to get to do Batman, who we want to get to do Bruce Wayne, because everybody that come in they just weren't feeling it. And then Kevin Conroy comes in, and he does two voices for them, one of Bruce Wayne and a very dark voice of Batman. And all of a sudden, everybody calmed down, and they knew this was going to work. Is the feeling I got with Kevin Conroy. So after the two guys that did the Batman serials and in the 40s, and whoever did the voices on the filmation Batman in the late 60s, and Adam West as Batman, and eventually Adam West came in and did the voice of Batman on some Super Friends, and Michael Keaton at this time, and all the people that's played Batman since, Val Kilmer, George Clooney. you know, Kevin Conroy is my Batman thanks to these cartoons. When I read the Batman comics, I hear those voices. Okay. So what they did is that with all those influences and everything that was going on, they sent the first pilot to be animated, which was on Leather Wings, off to I don't know, somewhere in Asia. Okay, because they used a lot of studios when this got picked up. So I don't know which one did it, and But when it came back, the people who had actually worked on the show, the people who did the voice and stuff. Mark Hamill even talked about this when he was popping up doing Batman or doing the Joker for the first time and stuff. So all of a sudden, all these people, they're like this big chin, these little ears, and this cartoony style. What's this going to look like? And it comes back, and everybody is blown away. It's a mini movie. It's got Danny Elfman's sound and music. It's got an Art Deco film noir feel for the backgrounds. They started out with black paper and started putting light colors on it to do the background, so it was a very dark cartoon. The intro, it never said Batman: The Animated Adventures. Man, the intro is just Batman showing up. It's got police blimps everywhere. It's got crooks with guns. They started showing guns. Batman's punching them. I hadn't seen violence anywhere in the 80s in any of those cartoons. Thundercats, G.I. Joe, anything, nothing. He-Man, no punches thrown, no guns shown, gangsters getting punched, and there's Batman just in the spotlight on top of a building. And you don't need to say Batman the Animated Adventures, because when you see Batman, you know who he is and what this is. Okay? So it went off from there. I think this was 1992. And I started hearing about this cartoon, but this is like when I was traveling. I was very young, and I think this ran from 92 to 95 the first time, and then 2 years later, in 97, the WB network came on, and they started the fourth season, which I'll show you here in a minute. But when it first started out, I was hearing about this, and I was wanting to see it, but I did the military thing, I was doing the traveling thing, and then somewhere in between all that, I ended up at my grandparents' house for a real short visit. My brother was still living with them, and I walk in, and they had satellite, and they were watching Fox, and I see Batman. Looked like the way I remembered, he was on the dock somewhere, and this cartoon is on the TV, and I see Batman punching and fighting a very well choreographed fight scene with someone, and I was just blown away. I don't remember what episode it was, but I was like, oh no, I've been missing out. So over the years, the only way I could watch it was to see a VHS here and there, and Cartoon Network would rerun them, and some other places would rerun them, and then I looked up, and I saw a few on Saturday mornings. Don't get me wrong, but they showed the episode. These are they split up the DVD sets into 4 seasons, and actually the first 65 episodes were shown every day around 4:30 on Fox Network, and I think it was in the second season that they went ahead and ordered 20 more so they could actually show them on Saturday mornings, and that's when they gave it an intro, and it was the Adventures of Batman and Robin. The studio Fox Network execs came in and insisted on more Robin because Robin and kids will connect and stuff. The show was already a hit. It was already getting it won an Emmy with Heart of Ice, where they redone Mr. Freeze, and I mean, it was just blowing everybody away and criticizing, but you know they needed to change it a little bit. So actually, the first season technically is 65 episodes, and the way I understand TV, you need something like 65 to 100 episodes to syndicate. Apparently, 65 is enough for a cartoon, and then they got the extra 20, so it's 85. And then over the years, they came out with 3 movies, and I'm getting ahead. I'll stop right there. So all this came out on Leather Wings, and oh my goodness, hold on, don't you know it? And anyway, so they split up the first 65 episodes apparently into 2 seasons, maybe on here. They got different numbers on there. And I'm really happy with the DVDs when they came out. They started coming out in 2004, and I probably have the receipt in here. Now, I keep the plastic on my DVDs, and I just do it on the side, so there might be a glare. But as you can see, this is the box, and the sticker is on the plastic, not on the box. But you know, you get a free movie pass to the Halle Berry movie back then. And as you can see, you get over 10 hours of stuff. You get 28 cartoons on 4 DVDs with special features. And a lot of my background information on this show comes from the featurettes because they're excellent. Um, so here's the box, and you get a Batman on there, and it tells you what the featurettes are. Sorry about the glare, but you can already see there's Killer Croc. There's a Clayface. Just all kinds of action on here, and it says that you get you know, these featurettes. Batman: The Legacy Continues, a retrospective feature. The Dark Knight's first night pilot promo. Uh, I remember the pilot promo. It was really good. It was just like a really short featurette to show everybody, and I think that's what they cut up to make the intro. Okay, you get a very nice tour of the Batcave and commentary on 2 episodes. Now, the commentary on these, you can tell these guys are true artists because they're tearing apart what they did. They're not satisfied. They weren't satisfied with the animation. Bruce Timm wanted a more angular style. And they can see like little things in the transfer, like a little white dot on Batman's face during the intro that just drives them nuts. Isn't going to be there. In the first episode, they kind of make fun of themselves on how they built up the Batmobile, because you know when the Batmobile showed up in the first episode, they made it an event. They showed the tire, they showed that thing, how sleek and long it is. And they said, yeah, we never made a big deal about it after that. So right off the bat, you get some villains, little segments there. And I talked about and Adria Romano, the voice director who did the casting and stuff. We had Adrienne Barbeau do Catwoman. We had Mark Hamill come in and do the Joker, man. You had Ron Hellboy Perlman, Vincent the Beast. He's done Sons of Anarchy. You know, they had actors come in and told them to act doing Clayface. Okay, Mr. Freeze, they came in and just the Mr. Freeze episode, Heart of Ice, won a damn Emmy. They changed. They took him from being a mad scientist to this tragic figure with his wife trapped and everything. I'm leaving sticking this DVD. I was about to reference comic books. Okay, so we open these up and we get more, and we get a list of the cartoons on each DVD, disc 1 and 2. Ooh, stuff fell out. With this, and I kept everything. Here's the Catwoman pass to, you know, the theater can send back in and get a discount on their, you know, on the ticket for letting me go in for buying this. It's good for up to $12. In theaters, July 2004. This expires on August 16th, 2004. And let's see what date I actually bought this, because this is the actual receipt. I bought this on July 29th, 2004. The last year I was married. Okay, so now we open it up. And like I said, we see disc 1 and 2. And it seems like some of these came with steals, movie steals or something, but I'm not going to, if I don't see it. There's the this three. We get the order of cartoons that are on there. We get these fantastic discs. Okay. And let's open it one more time, and it continues. Okay. So here's the discs, and you can see that the packaging is great because they have even more shots from the cartoon to give you an idea. There's Batman, there's Robin. No, I'm not going to straighten them out. Catwoman, and the Joker, of course. So that's the packaging. And I thought this was really cool back then. So when they made these cartoons, the writers actually went back and did things that were more traditional to give this whole Batman deco film and war timeless feel to it. The TVs are there and they're black and white, but it's got a 40s feel to it because there's blimps and stuff floating around. Everybody wears the fedoras and stuff. It was a really good transfer of the Tim Burton one. But where Tim Burton was a movie and these are 22-minute cartoons, what amazed me is when I finally got to watch these, each cartoon felt like a mini movie. Okay. Um, Pretty poison. I'm just seeing if there's anything here I want to do. But a lot of these, and you can actually get on Wikipedia. I don't usually tell people to go to Wikipedia, but they had a nice little section telling where a lot of these stories came from and what comics they came, detective and Batman stories and things like that. And what amazed me, they went to a lot of Neil Adams and Denny Moore stories, bringing in Ra's al Ghul, who had, to my knowledge, never been animated. They started bringing in these Batman characters, and sometimes the characters, the villains took over the story, and Batman was just kind of there every now and then. Okay. Joker's Favor was just, that's probably one of the first ones I watched where that just blew me away, where that one was a Joker story. The Clock King, they had Roddy McDowall come in and do that. They made the Clock King completely different from what he was in the comics. And they ended up using him in Justice League cartoons years later. Mad as a Hatter, great one. Dreams of Darkness. I know they had Ed Asner on some of these too. Two-Face, part 1 and 2. They established that Harvey Dent is Two-Face. And it was better than what they had in the comics. You know, more thought than what had been put in. That Harvey Dent had the signs of multiple personality, split personality, before he became Two-Face. It was a two-parter, just amazing, a fantastic psychological, tragic story. Heart of Ice, commentary by Bob Denny. Heart of Ice was the one that got them noticed. They wanted, I'm pretty sure they won some kind of award. I want to say Emmy, that's what's coming to my head. But Heart of Ice was the one that put them on the freaking map with what they did in that cartoon. And the commentary gives you a lot of great background on it. So that's season 1. Let's move on to season 2. We got more of a blue tone to it. Okay, so here's the box. Okay. Well, he's outside. I hope my door is locked. It's freaking me out. Okay, we got some Batman and Joker, another Batman. More a little bit about what's going on with season 2. Commentary on 4 key episodes by the series creators. Robin Rising, how the Boy Wonder's character evolved. Just fantastic, fantastic little look on what they did here and where they got influence from the comics and how they figured out how he fit in, which I thought was just great. Gotham's Guardians, the supporting characters. And now the supporting characters that they did, Renee Montoya is the first one that comes into mind. That ended up going into the comics. They also introduced new villains that I think 2 villains went into the comic. Of course, you know, our lovely Harley Quinn popped up, started in the comics. Renee Montoya started in the comics, and they had another villain who's kind of had a persecution, a judge complex. I think Lockup was his name. They brought him in, and I mean, it's just so much great stuff. So that's the featurettes on that one. Voices of the Night. Voiceover stars talk more about their work. So, you know, you get the cast in there, and they all give little tidbits of stuff. So, once again, this is the inside packaging. We get more of the villains on there, the steals. Okay, looks just like the box on the outside. Love this stuff. And as you can see, they used the Neil Adams designed Robin outfit, pretty close. That is still Dick Grayson in there. You know, it's kind of took elements from a few of them. And once again, we get the table of contents as we open it up on what's on each disc. Continue opening that. I don't think anything else is going to fall out of this one. So we continue with this 3 with all the cartoons. And we'll just look at the DVDs and disc 4. So there's 28 on this one. Okay, so there's Batman once again. I would love to show you the background of all the cartoons and stuff, but I really would rather not take out the DVDs. Riddler gets a turn, the Penguin, and Harley Quinn. There she is. We all know what's become of her. And I think this one has like guest stars started popping up. Zatanna came on there, and they had the introduction of the idea of Bruce Wayne, and Zatanna had, you know, Bruce Wayne got trained by Zatara in the past, and he and Zatanna had a little romantic episode there. Perchance to Dream was so good. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Cape and Cow Conspiracy, Robin's Reckoning, Part 1 and 2, The Laughing Fish. I think The Laughing Fish, they actually took a couple of Sting Englehart stories from the 70s with Marshall Rogers and mixed them up. I could be wrong. Night of the Ninja. Moon of the Wolf is kind of weak. Moon of the Wolf, there's 2 or 3 episodes that seem really inconsistent. I mean, once you really get into it, and they all can't be, you know, you can't hit a home run with every one of them, but there's 2 or 3 of them that really do stick out like a sore thumb, and that Moon of the Wolf just really got me. I mean, I remember reading I've got it here somewhere. I've got a Batman comic from the 70s, oversized, with Neil Adams' cover of a werewolf chained, or Batman chained and a werewolf coming at him. I don't know. Almost Got Him. That is a really good one. A bunch of the villains are sitting around playing poker, and they're all talking about how they all almost killed Batman. You know, the Croc is sitting there just like, hit him with a rock. You know, what is reality? I Am the Night. I Am the Night is the one where I think Gordon. Oh my God, I'm doing this. I'm going by memory. I Am the Night may be the one where you didn't see Commissioner Gordon get shot, but they cut back to a scene and he's laying there and he's been shot. I think that's what just, you know, really set Batman off. The Man Who Killed Batman is hilarious. Mudslide, Zatanna, Mechanic, Harley and Ivy get their own episode, and that one has commentary. Cat Scratch Fever, Strange Secret of Bruce Wayne was great. Heart of Steel Part 1 and 2. Bruce Timm does commentary. Oh, that was so good. Joker's Wild. So there you go. That was really good. And also some more of the supporting cast I was talking about a minute ago. I remember they used Lucius Fox there, who I just remember reading like 1 or 2 comics, and it turned out I had his first appearance and didn't even know it. So we're on the 3rd episode, and this is, whoops. Now we're on the 3rd volume, what they call season 3, and this has the ones that were on Saturday mornings, okay? So this is when they kind of turned into the adventures of Batman and Robin. So right off the bat, we get more Batman on the cover. Another pose. Bane's the villain this time. They brought in Bane. Nightfall had been going on, so we all kind of wondered if Batman was going to get his back broke, because they do take a few. They took a few panels from those comic books that I recognized, where I was like, "Oh, that was nice." They did read it, and of course, Robin's more of a figure in these, and I think Alfred stepped up a little bit. Bullet for Bullock is probably in this one. A Bullet for Bullock. They started using the detectives a little bit more, the police force from the comic books and stuff. Harvey Bullock and stuff. You have to stand up. This one we got Gotham's New Knight, Batgirl, Batman's newest ally in the War of Crime. So this is the introduction of Batgirl. Commentaries on 3 episodes, so you know they were slowing down. And apparently this is a really great set. Of course we get more. We got Scarecrow on there. Ra's al Ghul. Is it Raz al Ghul or is it Ra's? Always been something. And on the back we get more. As you suck those in, make sure nothing's going to fall out. Okay, so once again they fold out. We get to see some things. Yep, and I was right. They some of them came out with animation stills, giveaway classic cartoon. That's not that. Apparently they were running some kind of contest in this. I'm not going to get into that. What do we got here? The World's Greatest Superheroes. We got an advertisement. The Batman. I don't believe this is supposed to be in there. This is the Batman from that was like 10 years later. So we'll just put that over here. I got somewhere I can put that. No, actually, this is supposed to be in this. This was the cartoon that came out when these DVDs were being made. So excuse me, they started the cartoons over with again. Okay, yeah, cartoon giveaway promotion. All right, so we open this up. I think you get the idea that they do the table of contents. And here are the DVDs for this one. Okay. All right, so disc 4 table of contents, Batman on disc 1, Mad Hatter on disc 2, Robin on disc 3, and Mr. Freeze. You know, all the stuff that's going on there. So I really actually like the packaging. I like the colorful. Shadow of the Bat was a great one. That's a two-parter. The Demon's Quest. That is where they adapted the Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil story. I want to say it's from Detective. Was that his first appearance? Maybe Batman. But anyway, they go back to the early '70s and they do their version of telling of the introduction of Talia, his daughter, and Ra's al Ghul. And there's parts of the cartoon where I felt like I was watching Johnny Quest. It was glorious. It was glorious. I couldn't believe it. And it was one of the first cartoons of the Batman series where we didn't get the opening promo. I think they just had some words come over that, you know, it was the Batman show. They didn't waste any. They didn't waste 1 second on an intro or anything, so they could get more story in there. It was fantastic. Demon's Quest. They started pulling some Kirby there. Fire from Olympus. The Turbo Trio. That goes back to the comics. That's actually tapping in some golden age there, I think. Harlequinade. That was a episode that I've heard people just talk about, and they have commentary on that one. Catwalk, Bane, introduced Baby Doll, that was good. The Lion and the Unicorn, man, tapping a little. What do you call it over in England? M14, MI5, MI4, MI5. Anyway, you know, you find out Alfred was a spy. Showdown, they brought in Jonah Hex. That's the one I was thinking of. That was just a fantastic episode. Getting to where I want to watch this. Harley's Holiday, that was great. Lock Up, Make 'em Laugh, Deep Freeze, Batgirl Returns, Read My Lips. Commentary on that one. The Worry Man Sideshow. Sideshow is definitely that was actually one of my favorite Batman stories there for a while because Batman ran across some circus freaks. And I want to say Denny O'Neil wrote it, but it was definitely a Neil Adams story. And they just replaced one character from that comic with Croc in the cartoon. That's one of my favorite. That's one of the ones I never thought I'd see the Seal Boy animated. Trial, Avatar, House and Garden. Just a great set. So, and then the show was more or less canceled, and they just ran these things in syndication for a while. And the WB network was starting. You got the CW channel now. WB started out as a separate entity, and I'm trying to think what the other one was, but it was Paramount. Paramount started a TV station also, and they ended up merging. But when WB started, they really jumped on there with the Saturday morning kid shows and stuff, and they called everybody back up. You know, Warner Brothers owns them and stuff, and they said, let's do this again. Give us another season. So Bruce Timm and them came in and started to get the redesigns and stuff. They made it more angular. They changed the colors on Joker and stuff. It was actually quite shocking, and a lot of the adult themes started sneaking through there. And they actually ended up using a little bit of computer animation for effects in there and stuff. One of the first times they've done that, and they had a new Robin. And in the Batman animated series time, what they had was they had time. They had 2 years of time go by, and what I always thought they had a lot of subtle things in there. I picked up on a storyline that how I interpreted was Batgirl and Robin went to college together, had a romantic interest, and the Batman Robin team split up, and Robin became Nightwing because Barbara Gordon chose Bruce Wayne. It was real subtle, some of the stuff they did. They really hit a lot of innuendo in these, and it was to serve the story. It wasn't anything perverted. I think I might have hyped that up a little bit. Anyway, here's the new Batman. He took off the yellow oval, went darker with him, more black instead of blue. They added red to this. Like some of the skies were red. It's like they were still doing the black backgrounds, but I saw a lot of red in this. And right there, as you can see with the Joker, man, they gave him the black eyes and the gray skin. Harley Quinn got gray skin, and they really did a lot of different things. The colors were darker. And with the Robin, they mixed in a lot of the Tim Drake and Jason Todd and the Legacy. Nightwing popped up, which I cannot believe. More Batgirl. There's Nightwing down here. I just could not believe he made it to the cartoon. I mean, this is way before. And I knew it. They started putting animated stills in them. There's a cell. Make sure I'm not losing anything else in this. And the setup is pretty much the same. You know, we get the art. We open it up. We get the table of contents with shots from the show. Mr. Freeze returns. Everybody's updated. Time has gone by. They made a horrifying scarecrow with a hangman noose and looks like he's got flesh peeling off his skin. That's how his things look. A lot scarier, a lot deadlier, a lot darker. It was really good how a lot of these. And there's a few episodes that actually turned some people off because they were way out there, man. So yeah, great stuff. But I love the set, man. It's a little different than what they did at Fox. You know, the first 85 or the first. I think I told you guys wrong, man. I think I got that wrong. Anyway, it's too late now. We're too far in. But anyway, we got Holiday Nights. Let me look here. See if there's any that just stick out at me. Critters. That was a wild one. Cold of the Cat, Old Wounds, The Demon Within return. They brought in the Creeper in this. I remember that. Girls Night Out is a very popular cartoon, man, because I think that's Harley Quinn and Ivy, and I can't remember her name, but they had a lightning-based character that was in the Superman cartoon. When WB started, they had a Superman Batman hour, so they started having Bruce Timm and his crew also doing the Superman cartoons, and they crossed over a character or two there. In 2, 3, the girl villains showed up. Judgment Day, that's the one with the judge. So I'm going to have to go look see who Lockup is. Like I said, I'm doing these from there. Legends of the Dark Knight, that is a great story. A bunch of people give their interpretation of running into Batman, how he looked, and everything like that. They've done that a couple times. Chemistry, Beware the Creeper. Joker's Millions, Growing Pains. Growing Pains was really weird. That's the weird one that everybody was like, how the hell did that get made? And Over the Edge is the one where everybody thought that Batgirl was killed, you know, by the Scarecrow, which is just a really dark one. So anyway, the cartoon series was such a success. They you know that was the end of them, but they started doing comics, and the series actually influenced the comic books, if you will. Okay, they brought in Bruce Timm and the guys that worked on it. And we got a little mini series of Batman, Harley, and Ivy. They had the Batman Animated Adventures comic book going. Mike Payobeck became a star on that before he passed away. Harley Quinn was popular where they finally brought her into the regular DC universe. They came out with Batman animated series, The Lost Years or something like that, which I want to get because I never knew that was out there. They did an animated feature that was going to be direct to DVD, but it came out during Tim Burton's second movie or third. No, another Batman movie had come out, so they went ahead and released it in theaters. And even though it wasn't a real success, it sold consistently well over the years on DVD. Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which pulled from Batman Year 2 in the comics from the 80s. And they pulled from that in the comics. Here's just the Batman and Robin Adventures. This is an annual, but that was another series that went on, pulling in that Jack Kirby, the Demon, and and this is by Paul Dini, Bruce Timm, by Parobeck that I was telling you about, DeCarlo Jansen, John Byrne, Matt Wagner, and stuff. So I feel like I got the good stuff there. And the comic books actually lasted close to a decade. I'm trying to remember how they said it. When the comic book started, they lasted, a really long time, like a decade probably after, the cartoon series ended, give or take a few years. And again, the only reason they ended it was because they restarted the cartoons. Where did it go? I just had it. Yeah, they came out with The Batman. Okay. And they brought in a comic book guy to come out and do it. Can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was he did the Jackie Chan Adventures cartoon. These were the same people, and they got this, and they gave it a 70s filmation feel. Yet it had the same thing. It was a younger Bruce Wayne and stuff like that. But yeah, that's why they kind of just cleaned the slate with it, and and then everybody was still wanting more of the Batman animated adventures. Paul Dini came in and wrote the Mr. Freeze comic older. I think this was during the 90s. Don't get me wrong, you know. But yeah, everybody finally remembered it and stuff. 1997. So yeah, I mean, anything that anybody who watched the cartoon would go out and try to get these books when they found out that people from that were writing, Paul Dini was writing the TV show, the animated series, and then whenever he did a book, Paul Dini ended up getting a pretty good run on Detective Comics there for a while and stuff, and people in the 2000s, and everybody that remember the animated series of the 90s, were eating it up and stuff. But anyway, there you go. That was my really first, ran a little long, but there you go. That's my Batman the Animated Series DVD collection. So enjoy, and I want to go check and see something's freaking me out over here, man. Maybe talking to all this Dark Knight, film noir, Art Deco stuff might be doing it. Hopefully, I got some bad ears around here. All right, later, guys.